What do you want to talk about today? The fact that Nick Sirianni is still calling plays, or that John Middleton wants his effing trophy back? We're going to talk both those things today. We're going to talk a lot of things today. Trending in the AM, we're live, taking your thoughts and opinions in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the drill. Whichever platform you're watching on, whichever station you're watching on, please hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe and follow button. Do it all. Get as many people as we can in here so that we can all talk about two things today. Nick Sirianni is calling plays, and John Middleton wants his effing trophy back. Gotta love the excitement from John Middleton in the clubhouse last night after the Philadelphia Phillies clinched their first NL East crown since 2011. So, yes, we've got a baseball and football show for you today, not just a football show. We're going to talk it all. But I love John Middleton. I want my effing trophy back. We also have a little fun coming in with a little short video I put on TikTok, on Twitch, on YouTube Shorts, on Twitter that has stirred up some great love and some great hate. So we're gonna get into that as well because I am not afraid to admit my mistakes. So guys, we got lots to talk about. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all social media platforms at Beard and Knowledge. Make sure you check it out. Duck, good morning. Long time no see, sir. How are you today? Good morning, little J. Let's kick some Buccaneers. That's right. We'll get into the Buccaneers as the week goes on for sure. Phillies clinched the number 1 seed by Friday. I was actually, Rick, it's funny you say that. I was trying to do the math on the magic number just to get the bye. Literally 2 minutes ago, I think it's 3 is what I calculated. Trying to figure out the math how to get the number 1 seed and at least the first round bye, which is very important, as Rob Thompson said to the team in the locker room there. Got to get that first round bye to let our pitchers set up, our players get a little bit more rest, etc. What's up, Mr. Bruce Bryce Harper? Awake after partying late into the night? Love it. Phillies clinch. Sirianni is a poor decision maker. Hurts can't seem to get warmed up until the half. Carter is a wild man. I mean, that pretty much sums up the show. Show's over because Duck summed it all up in 1 second right there. I love it. Rick's Beer Adventures watching, man. I love it, man. You do some great work there, Rick. I do enjoy your show when I can catch it. I feel we won convincingly last night, although it was against the Cubs. I think the Cubs were in contention not too long ago. You know, they fell off at the end of the season, but it is what it is. Win's a win. We had a terrible road trip there. So very nice to get out and get the win and win that series there. Or win that game and get that NL East. It's crazy that it's been since 2011 since we've won the division. You know, those last 2 years we keep forgetting. For as great as the playoff run was in 22, we squeaked in at the end. So, you know, it's a good thing to win the division. It's a good thing to get at least one round of home field, advantage. My confidence meter is not uberly high, but after listening to John Middles say, I want my bleeping trophy back, let me tell you something. I'm all in. all in on the Philadelphia Phillies and Red October. Exactly, Rourke. Let's frickin' go. I know you didn't say frickin' there, but that's what I'll say. Hurts is greater than Burrow. Yeah, dude. Some terrible Monday Night Football last night. Well, good and bad. Bills smoked the Jags. Doug Peterson might be the first coach fired in the NFL this year. Just saying. And I said it on this show on Friday. Why in the world were the Bengals the Bengals 7.5-point favorites? It made no sense to me whatsoever. And I had the worst weekend betting. But then I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's double down and put two $10 bets out there last night. And let's just say I've turned a $50 profit on week 3 betting because of my home run bets I made yesterday. All the bets I shared on Sunday, none of them hit. I didn't share any of yesterday's bets. Slam dunk on both of them yesterday. So now we turned a profit and we're back in the green. I feel Schwarber could be the Phillies MVP this year, even though he's a DH. Who is the Phillies MVP this year? That's tough. It's tough to give an MVP to a pitcher. I tend to think Zach Wheeler is right there with Schwarber, Bruce. Probably if you had to go to a hitter, probably Kyle Schwarber. He's been healthy most of the year. He missed like a week and a half there, in the middle of the season. Only Philly to hit 100 RBIs. He's got the home runs. His batting average is 250-ish. Probably. You're probably not wrong there, but I would tend to also make an argument for Zach Wheeler because I think he should. I know Chris Sale will win the Cy Young, but I think Zach Wheeler should be in consideration there. Burrow looks burnt. I think the bleach from Joe Burrow's hair seeped into his brain and has completely ruined him. Joe Burrow looks Joe average right now. Maybe Joe below average. He don't look like Joe Cool anymore. I don't know what's up with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. There's some issues there in Cincinnati. What the buck? Good morning to you, Eric. Look at that with a play on words there. There you go. I was off last week and didn't wake up before 10. Dude, you know what's funny, Duck? You say that. I was in Cancun, what was it, Saturday to Wednesday of last week? And Wednesday, I got up early because we had a flight to catch and stuff. But Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, my 3 mornings waking up without having to get to an airport, I still was up at 8:30 every day. I get up at 6:30 to do this show every day. But I still couldn't sleep past 8:30 any days. It's honestly like my brain and my body is so trained to get up early. It's hard. Sunday, I was off. I stayed up extra late Saturday night just to try to sleep in a little bit. And I still was up early. Like my body physically cannot sleep past 8:30 any day. I did celebrate last night with a nice glass of milk and a brownie. Look at that. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like that way of doing it. We're going to get into this in a second, Mitch. We're going to get into that later in the show, so save that for later. But let me tell you something, Mitch. That video, 40 new followers on Twitter, thousands and thousands of impressions, followers on YouTube, followers on TikTok because of that video. I'm a smart businessman with that video. I feel if Nola, Wheeler, and Suarez are a good starting 3 for the playoffs. Suarez, I have no confidence in Ranger Suarez starting a game in the playoffs, Bruce. Sorry. That boy is spent right now. Did the national news medium report on the dirty hit and no whistle from the ref? Really don't hear anything. And that when we get into Nick Sirianni had some testy comments in his press conference, day after press conference yesterday. And one of them was when he was asked about whether he was going to submit something to the league office about that hit. He says, I'm not going to talk about that. That's a private matter. I'm not even going to tell you if I do it or not. I'll just say I always send stuff to the league. Nick Sirianni was a little testy. For a winning head coach, Nick Sirianni was a little testy yesterday. Wheeler is the MVP. Yeah, I mean, I get Bruce's comment of Kyle Schwarber, but I want to make an argument for Zach Wheeler as well. Zach Wheeler has been phenomenal this year for the Phillies. Hurts is not better than Joe Burrow. Stinks at this point, Brian. Stinks. So if you're going to criticize Jalen Hurts, you better damn well criticize Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's got weapons. Just saying. If you're going to criticize Jalen Hurts, and some of your criticism is justifiable, you better damn well criticize Joe Burrow too. Because Joe Burrow is not playing good quarterback and hasn't for a longer stretch than Jalen Hurts, just like Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence hasn't played good football in like 2 years now since he won that Chargers playoff game. I agree about Wheeler, but he's won. And that's why pitchers don't win MVP very often. That's why it's hard to make that argument 1 out of every 5. And Schwarber's there every day. I get it. I get it, Bruce. And that's why you're probably right. But he's so good every 5th day. So good. Expensive win Sunday dulls the polarized feeling and snaps the reality of the situation right back. Is that why Nick Sirianni was getting testy with the media when asked multiple times about going for it on 4th downs and the play calling? And then I don't know if he purposely admitted it or accidentally admitted it, that he was the one that called the play, the fake tush push. Is Nick Sirianni actually calling plays? What is going on there? I thought we weren't. I thought Nick Sirianni wasn't calling plays. And he kind of let it slip that he actually might be calling plays. Interesting there. Mitchie Poo, did you choose violence today? Mitchie Poo, come on now. Eagles build on this win by not letting Hurts throw anymore. Stop. Look at his throw chart. Look at his spray chart. Yeah, the interception was bad. It was awful. And to get off of Hurts, but to bring the Hurts into it. Is anybody else getting tired of Nick Sirianni? And I know it's not been 10 years of doing it. But is anybody else tired of Nick Sirianni accepting blame for every person's mistake? Jalen Hurts shouldn't have thrown that ball. Absolutely. Shouldn't have fumbled that ball. You got to hold on to that fumble. Just either don't comment on it or say, yeah, Jalen knows and he's got to learn and be better. Don't say it's your fault, Nick Sirianni, because it's not your fault. It's Jalen Hurts' fault. It's Kellen Moore's fault, not Nick Sirianni's, unless Kellen Moore's not the one calling the plays. And that's a whole subject that we've got to dive into today. Dougie P coming back to Philly. No, stop. We don't want Dougie P back. Dougie P might be a one-hit wonder, okay? He might be the new Radicals of head coaches. I feel the bleach is hurting his brain too. It's got to be the bleach. It's got to be the bleach. He looks like the real Slim Shady, but I think the real Slim Shady would stand up and still throw a better football than him right now. T. Higgins and Chase got no extensions. That's a Bengals organization. So Jamar Chase isn't trying, is what you're saying? T. Higgins isn't committed, is that what you're saying? And that's why Joe Burrow, they weren't up. He stunk last year, the end of last year too, just like Jalen Hurts did. Contracts weren't a problem last year. I'm up at 6 a.m. every day, no matter how late. Exactly. It's 6:30 to 8:30 maximum for me every day. It's crazy. Look at all these guys who held out for extensions. Training camp matters. Training camp does matter, honestly. That we can agree on. Buddy threw in Ranger. He's cooked. Yeah, dude. Ranger is cooked. Game 3, Brian, I'm pitching Christopher Sanchez, or actually, depending on the matchup, it could be Sanchez game 2, Nola game 3, depending on the location, the team, the matchup, and stuff like that. Not a knock on Nola, but you could make an argument for that too. There ain't no way I'm pitching Ranger Suarez unless I have to in the playoffs. No. Rangers. Sanchez. Sorry. Rick, I thought you were putting Suarez there. Sanchez, you said. Yeah. Definitely Sanchez is number 3 in the playoffs. 1,000%. Ref should have called that play dead. Absolutely. Definitely helmet to helmet. I don't think it was an intentional helmet to helmet. But the play on Slay was definitely a dirty play as well. And not the first time he's done it this season. So yeah. Yeah, and then the scumbag that spit on Devontae after he was knocked in the ground. I mean, that right there, I mean, the hit is going to get a fine. No doubt it. But tell me you don't think that the spitting spitting on a player, that's a suspension in my opinion. I'll trade Hurts straight up for Burrow. Y'all crazy. Nah, I mean, why? Joe Burrow ain't nothing. Joe Burrow got a lot more injury issues too. He's got a bad knee. So, no. Stop. What's Joe Burrow's record this year? And what's Jalen Hurts' record? That's all I'll say. Why should we care? Exactly. My main man Phil out in Cancun showing them hair chest. I have no problem. My Fu Manchu, I show it off, man. No problem. I ain't shy of what God gave me. Yeah, I'm a hairy bastard. I'm an Italian. What do you expect? I think they said he was still making critical decisions and his decision making is sucked. No, Nick Sirianni said, well, they are saying that he's making critical decisions, like going for it on fourth down. Nick Sirianni said, hold on, I got the quote here. Where do I got it? Here and there, I still call plays when I feel the moment is right. And then he says he does what is best for the team in his honest opinion at that moment. So he admitted flat out he calls plays from time to time every game this year. And it was his decision to go for it on that 1 4th down where he ran the fake tush push. And he said he called that play of the fake tush push, just so you know. So Nick Sirianni is actually calling several plays a game. And then he tried to backtrack. Well, it's a team effort. Sometimes the quarterback coach, sometimes the offensive, sometimes Jeff Stoutland will pipe something in on a play he wants to run, blah, blah, blah. No. Nick Sirianni flat out admitted that he's calling plays occasionally. I pet a real tiger in Thailand. You're a crazy man, Eric. Crazy man. Yeah, I'm tired of it. Look, I can admit two things, Marshawn. I can admit Jalen Hurts has a turnover issue, but I can also admit that Jalen Hurts still finds a way to win. Jalen Hurts, hold on, I wrote it down. Maybe that was another day I wrote that note down. I had a note down about his winning percentage. So he has, since 2022, Jalen Hurts has the highest winning percentage in the NFL, 77.1%. Nobody else has that winning percentage since 2022. Just saying. So, yes, Jalen Hurts has a turnover problem, and he has to figure it out. And I don't know how. Marshawn, I'll agree. He's got a turnover problem. How do you teach a quarterback to stop being so aggressive, especially considering he's winning 77% of his games anyway? So it's something that's got to be figured out. I don't know. I don't know what to say there, but he still wins football games. That's true, and it's a hell of a hit if that's his one-hit wonder. And, Doug Peterson will never pay for a meal in Philadelphia ever again. But it's something with Doug Peterson. It's just not clicking there in Jacksonville. Jey Uso is the new the yeet is so stupid. The yeet is so stupid. Jey Uso ain't no main event player. Jey Uso delivered the weakest spear. I only saw it on replay this morning on Twitter. The weakest spear to win a championship I've ever seen. The spear is becoming the new super kick party. I'm sick and tired of the damn spear, okay? I think Topper will view Ranger as trending back up on the velocity, and therefore will still go with him to the fans' chagrin. Yeah, I see like a 2022 scenario, Nooms, where he's got a very short. In 2022, remember, he was at the end of his leash, and he was pitching he was starting games. He was going like 3 innings, 4 innings a game. He's going to have a very, very short leash with Rangers starts in the playoffs. I hope he doesn't go game 3 with Ranger, but we'll see what he does. Missing Parsons talking about CJ. I just saw something about it, but I didn't actually watch the full clip. Why would Parsons be smack talking when his defense got smoked by the Saints? Exactly. Like, that makes no sense to me, Brian, whatsoever. Yeah, that's right. I am. K1. Did I say that? I got a question for K1 here, and this is an inside joke. Is it 520 or is it 500? What's 39 and 36? Is that a 500 win percentage or 520 winning percentage? Just curious. Shout out to Torts with a classy move to bring in Guy Gardeau to help coach the Flyers. Much respect. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. It was a mistake bringing Nick back. He is becoming a nuisance and a distraction. Look, I have been 1,000% on board with Nick Sirianni being back in charge of this football team this year. Yesterday's press conference is the first time that I've ever had even a sliver of doubt about it. I'm not saying I want him fired. Not asking for him to be fired right now. All I'm saying is yesterday's press conference was the first time I even remotely thought about the fact that maybe it was a bad decision. Yeah, you're not firing him midseason, especially the fact that they're winning football games more than they're losing. But last night or yesterday afternoon when he spoke to the media and I listened to it, it was the first time I'm like, actually, maybe everybody else was right on that. Maybe. But we got to ride the ship. Got to run with the ship. That is just what you got to do at this point, in my opinion. You got to roll with it. got to roll with it at this point. Good morning, Brad. Yes, how about them Phillies? First NL East title since 2011. Love to see it. Love to see it, Brad. Now we got to get that at least the number 2 seat and get that bye. Got to get the first round bye so that we can give everybody a few extra days of rest. Look, I'm not just a pretty face, Anthony. I come with stats. I got stats for today. I got stats for a lot of things, depending on what comes up today in the conversation. I do. I got the stats to prove it. 2 things can be true. Jalen finds ways to lose, too. But only 23% of the time. Actually, 20. What did I just say? 23? No. 22.9. He loses 22.9% of the time. 77.1, he wins. Okay? Numbers don't tell the whole story, Phil. Look. So then the numbers don't tell the whole story on his turnovers. So you're focused on one set of numbers, but then when I counter one set of numbers with another set of numbers, my numbers don't matter, but your numbers do. Make that make sense, Marshawn and Mitchie Poo. Just curious. Curious why one set of numbers, why I can say both matter, but you guys only say one set of numbers matter. You just got a predetermined thing, and you're not willing to look at both sides of the equation. One of the things we loved about Hurts in the past was ball security. Yeah, absolutely. And he did have a bad turnover that probably cost us the Super Bowl. He might not. Maybe, Brian, that's a fair point. Maybe mentally he hasn't gotten over that thing yet. Like, I'm trying to think of a way, and this might be out of unorthodox. Maybe he needs to see a sports psychiatrist about, privately about maybe he has this hero complex. He's got to do it all himself. And he can't trust his teammates. He's got to force things. And maybe a sports psychologist can break that roadblock in his brain to live another play. Live another day, live another play. You know what I mean? Maybe there's something to that. You know what I mean? That maybe he needs to do. But again, he still wins more than he loses. He is still taking us to a Super Bowl. He is still taking us to the playoffs. Every year he's been a full-time starter. So, yes, he has flaws. But look around the NFL. Look at all the quarterbacks that just played last night. Trevor Lawrence got a lot of flaws. Joe Burrow's got a lot of flaws. All right? They're all making more money. Teams win, Philip. Players contribute. Okay. I mean, that's not wrong. But, so you're giving Jalen Hurts no credit for the wins then. Tell Jalen stop being an Avenger. Yeah, basically. Thunderbolts. Did anybody see it? The trailer for it? Actually, it was a pretty a non-multiverse type movie from MCU coming out. It actually looked like a pretty good preview or trailer yesterday. Nobody says yeet outside of exactly. Like, it's so freaking annoying. Like, when I see Jey Uso come out, I pick up the remote, click, 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 change the channel. When he came out, I switched over to Family Guy rerun last night to fall asleep to. He's fallen into the Dak trap. He's forcing the ball like a gunslinger, but he's game manager and ball protector with a little improviser upside. We need that guy back. Absolutely. And when you got Saquon Barkley, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got Dallas Goedert, you got an offensive line like we have, you don't need to be a gunslinger. It's a mental thing that he's got to overcome. And I don't know how you do that. I'm not sure. No yeet. See, I can even say yeet really cool, but I don't want to. Let's say game 5 in NLCS, bottom 8th. Phillies down 3-1, bases loaded, and Rojas is up. What do you do? Okay, hold on. Let me repeat this. Let's say game 5, NLCS, down 3-1 in the game. What are we at in the series? Is it 2-2? We're down 3-1 in the series as well. Bases loaded. Rojas is up. Is there 2 outs? Is there no outs? Got to get Jose. If you want me to answer this, you got to give me more. You got to expand on this a little bit because the scenario and the situation will play a factor. If we're down 3-1 in the series and 3-1 in the game and there's 2 outs, I'm probably pinch hitting. Probably. Now if it's 3-1, no outs, and it's a 2-2 series, let's see what the kid's got. Francisco Rojas. I mean, Yon Rojas has had actually a decent second half of the season. I mean, the fact his average is up to about 240 now is is pretty surprising. You give him a shot maybe if it's, depending on the scenario. Aaron Nola yesterday. Aaron Nola, I forget, I didn't write down the numbers. I saw it right before the show started, Brad. He's pitched in the last couple years 7 times in clinching games, whether it's clinching playoff games or clinching series games. And he's got like something like a 1.69 ERA. Aaron Nola, for all the crap we give him, and I'll stick by this statement I have made for a year now. Aaron Nola is one of the most underrated Phillies pitchers of all time. And when all is said and done, barring a disastrous injury that he misses years of time, or he gets like a Cliff Lee injury where he's never pitches again, when all is said and done, Aaron Nola will finish in the top 7 of Philadelphia Phillies all-time pitchers, statistically speaking. He's already top 10 in a lot of categories. He'll be top 7 in all categories when all is said and done, top 5 in some. And he doesn't get the credit because he gives up some beach ball home runs. But when the crunch time comes in clinching games, Aaron Nola shows up big. Yeah. I just tuned in for a second, put a comment in there to support the program and support the EOP brand, K1. Then I saw your comment. I stayed in the chat for like 5 minutes hoping he'd address your comment. He didn't. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll move on. But yeah, they're a 500 team, even though they're 520. But yeah, it was a great comment right there. You had to be there yesterday. Nobody looked like Sirianni. Absolutely nobody. I mean, I like the guy, but I wasn't on board with firing him after last year. But something about, like, if you have not watched his press conference from yesterday, not the Sunday one, the Monday after press conference, there's a certain attitude in his tone and his voice and his answers. Let me just say, I wasn't pleased with it. And it was the first time I saw a little kink in his armor. And I might have come to the dark side. Only 2 spears, I acknowledge. Rhino didn't have a spear. He had a gore. And the Goldberg one, yeah. I mean, Roman Reigns isn't bad. Edges isn't bad. But yeah, the Rhino, the gore from Rhino is the ultimate spear in wrestling history right there. There are 3 people I question on that team. Head coach, quarterback 1, and the walking momentum killer, Kenny Gainwell. I love how you throw Kenny Gainwell in there with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. I love it. There's something there. I'll bring this up. This is from the press conference yesterday. And you guys can comment if you'd like on this. He was asked about Devontae Smith probably being out and A.J. Brown, whether he's out or not. Britton Covey's out for 6 weeks now, at least with a broken shoulder. So right now your wide receiver room is Johnny Wilson, Jahan Dotson, and Paris Campbell. And if he's okay with that, and he said, yeah, he's okay with that. He's confident. He's what did he use the word? He has faith in the group is what he said. He also threw in there, he's got faith in his running back room. And last year before the season, we heard a lot about Kenny Gainwell in the slot. We've seen Saquon Barkley already line up in the slot and wide. So maybe we don't really do much with wide receiver because maybe we see more passing to Gainwell and Saquon Barkley on Sunday against Tampa Bay, and they just roll with what they got. Wilson, Dotson, Campbell, and probably Nagata gets some action, and that's it. That was kind of not the answer people wanted to hear, but kind of where it was at, honestly. So there's that. Them stats from 22 fan. What stats? Did the numbers reflect his 22% when he fumbled in the Super Bowl? Oh my God. I think I'm catching a cold, guys. Ain't gonna lie. My voice is going. I'm congested. God damn. Nobody cares about pressers but the press. I do. Because I enjoy listening to what a coach is thinking, what a coach's mentality is. And after a big win, and let's be honest, that was a momentous win, a building block win on Sunday. Because everything said they should have lost that game, and they won. And Nick Sirianni didn't sound like the head coach of a team that just won a massive game. Work on his game more. He's spending too much time picking out his game day outfit. Come on, you don't want to make yourself look good every Sunday for on your visits to church. Come on now. I doubt he's spending that much time on that. Trevor Lawrence's hair is glorious. He's got beautiful hair. If you know that one, you know that one. That trailer looked fun. It looked fun. I'm tired of multiverse movies. Like, just give me a straight up superhero trying to stop someone from taking over the world or taking over a city. Like, please, and a bunch of bad guys trying to do good. I like that idea. It was a fun, yeah. Big Al gets it too. It looks like a good, fun movie. It does. I need your savior, Jalen Hurts, to stop handing the ball to our opponents. Look, again, Brian, I have not denied that he has got a turnover issue. I have not. Unforced turnover minimization is what made Foles effective. He couldn't run well. He was streaky, but he took care of the ball. Hurts is not cut out the gunslinging. And I don't know how you do that. I think it's a mental thing. I think it's a philosophy change that you have to change in his brain to change the turnovers. And I don't know how you do it. I don't think you could just do it by telling him on the sideline, don't make that throw. You got to get inside the brain to change that philosophy. What's up, Peanut? Good morning. I think some of Hurts' interception turnovers has something to do with the offensive coordinator revolving door. Not an excuse, but certainly doesn't help. Like, shared, and comment. Hey, look, I love you, Peanut. My man. Check out his book, linked in the description of the show. His son wrote a great book. Jey Uso's weak. He's the Chavo of the bloodline. That might be the comment of the day. I love it. Not the, what was his name? Edwin, when he became a golfer, a golf caddy. Then they scrapped that after Eddie passed away. Jey Uso is the Chavo. There we go. I like it. Stop. Philly's going to win it all. Look, I'm all in. After hearing John Middleton say last night, I want my bleeping trophy back. I don't know why I'm afraid to say the F word on this show. I mean, I already said the bastard word on the show now twice. When he says, I want my effing trophy back, I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to run through a brick wall for you, Rob Thompson and John Middleton. Let's go. Let's not disappoint the man signing the paychecks. But honest me is concerned with our starting pitching, with our fourth pitcher, whoever it'll be, Ranger, whatever. I'm concerned that our bats have been mostly quiet lately. I'm concerned about the streakiness of this team. It's going to be, there are no cookie cutter wins in this playoffs. All really good teams in the playoffs. Look, I'm concerned. I've said it before. They're not the best record in baseball anymore. I think they're half a game behind the Dodgers right now for that title. But they're the most underwhelming 93-win team I've ever seen. I love when marketing cherry picks player numbers. I was expecting to hear about the color of his underwear in games next. Man, what time is it? We're 32 minutes. Okay. Jalen Hurts is currently 7th in the NFL in EPA play. The people acting like he's having a bad year this year don't know he is 5th in passing EPA. I don't even know. Look, I get it. Everybody loves the EPA stat now. That's a new cool analytic stat the last year or two. I don't even know what it means. I know it means he's pretty damn efficient, pretty damn good. Just give me wins, losses, and give me, your quarterback rating. And yeah, he's turning the ball over a lot. Anthony, look, we agree. Me and you are on the same page on Jalen Hurts. But I'm willing to say that he has to cut down the turnovers. Some of these turnovers are going to cost us football games. But he still finds a way to win more often than not. I know he's I think he's number one still. I don't know after Monday Night Football. I don't know who turned over what last night. But after Sunday, Jalen Hurts was number one in turnovers. And that's Brian, that's the thing. You only see one side. Me, I'm seeing both sides. I'm willing to admit he's a damn efficient player that wins a lot of football games. I understand that his mistakes cost us games and it's going to cost us a big game at some point. Our pitching rotation becomes more locked in than normal. Suarez will come through. So Jose, I love the confidence on Ranger Suarez. Forgive me for not feeling the same way. His velocity hasn't been the same. He can't get hitters out the way he used to. He still got the swag, but that's about it, in my opinion. I'm still concerned there. 6 interceptions. Overall turnovers, I think he's number one. Nick is the Kenny Gainwell of our coaching staff. We don't need him, but he came with Howie. So, okay, I like that. What's up, Joe? Good morning. How about them Phillies? I want my effing trophy back, Joe. NLE's champions. You remember when we were losing it when they lost 10-0 to the Astros? Yeah. I saw some Braves fan put down all the injured players on the Braves. And that's what it took for the Phillies to finally win in NL East. Braves are just jealous and bitter. They might not even make the playoffs at this point. Okay, so he's not number one anymore. I thought he was number one, but okay, he's number two. Oh, so great, he's not number one. He's number two. So it's even better than I thought. All right. So I feel better about it all. I'm still over Sirianni. He will cost another game this year at least. So Big Al, did you hear what I heard in his tone, the negativity in his tone in the press conference? And did you hear how he admitted that he calls plays still from time to time? And are you surprised and concerned like I am that Nick Sirianni still has such a big, impact, I guess is the word, on play calling from time to time? When what he feels is best for the team, in his opinion, at that moment, that bothers me. That bothers me. Good morning, Daniel. How you doing this morning? Hope you're well. Barbara's in the house. I'm not sure if you watch football outside the Eagles, but Josh Allen and Joe Burrow are way up. Well, I don't know if you watch football or not, because Joe Burrow ain't ahead of Jalen Hurts at all right now. Joe Burrow looks pretty awful at playing football right now. He's got his team in an awful position. Now, of course, everybody's saying, it's not Joe Burrow's fault. It's the wide receivers and their contracts' fault. Just like it's always somebody else. Just like it's always somebody else's fault when Justin Herbert doesn't win. Look, Joe Burrow's had a really rough this year and second half of last year as well. Josh Allen has rebounded from last year massively. Josh Allen, in my opinion, might be in the top 2 or 3 for MVP, in my opinion, at this point, this season. And yes, Josh Allen, I didn't have Josh Allen ahead of Jalen Hurts coming into the season. But yes, Josh Allen is having a head and shoulders better. You lose Stefon Diggs, your best wide receiver, and you're putting out this performance. Josh Allen's performing admirably. And he won me like $130 last night. Turned my week 3 betting around like that. So yes, I can admit Josh Allen for sure is playing better than Jalen Hurts. What about last year's wildcard game when he took Buddy tried to put Jalen Hurts at the bottom of the list when there's 4 guys tied with 4 interceptions? Anthony, you got to do. Look, there's 2 different sets of stats. He's leading the league in a bunch of stats positively, and he's also really bad in others. But Brian, you just got to see both sides. That's all I'm asking. The problem until last year, he wasn't as huge a gunslinger. After the Super Bowl and the big paycheck, I think he's forcing to prove he's worth it. There could be something that, again, that's where sports psychology comes into it. I'm big on sports psychology. I think big-time athletes need to sit regularly with sports psychologists to teach them how to handle the big pressure, the big money, the big accolades, the big everything. Duck, I really think it's important. If I was an owner of an NFL football team or an MLB team or an NBA team, and I gave somebody a record-breaking contract, I would put it in there. You have to sit down with a psychiatrist once a week, all year long, and talk about anything. But to make sure the mind is healed, because you can't take it to the next level if your mind's confused on what to do. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Nims. This is not the first time we've heard him say it. I want my effing trophy back. It's not the first. But still, every time I hear it, Nims, it fires me up. And every time the players hear it, it fires them up. Gotta love it. Phil, when are you not concerned? I'm concerned. I said I'm concerned. Are you saying I'm concerned too much? Look, I'm always concerned about a lot of things. Big game Vic Fangio, if he can keep dialing up game plans like last week. I'm still concerned about things like Nakobe Dean in the flat covering Chris Olave. I don't care if it was a zone and it was his assignment. It should never happen. But Vic Fangio had a 99.1% success rate last week for sure. Hold up, Eric. That's a reasonable take. Yeah. Eric's a very reasonable man. The Eagles had 0 points through 3 quarters. That's not good. Sorry. No, it's not good. Weren't the Saints a really great defense? And we held the Saints to 3 points. Look, the offense moved the ball. Maybe they would have had more than 3 points if Nick Sirianni didn't make so many boneheaded decisions throughout the game in those first 3 quarters. Maybe. Wins, losses, what's Jalen's playoff record? 0-1 year 1. What was that? 2-1, so that's 2-2. So he's 2-3 in the playoffs, right? Did I get that right, or is it 3-3? Trying to think. We had the 1 seat the first in the Super Bowl year, right? Can't remember if we had the 1 or 2 seat the first year. So probably 2-3, which isn't good. At least he's been to the playoffs. At least he's been to a Super Bowl. Come on now. It's a lot more than a lot of other guys could say. EPA is expected points added. Each play, are you helping the team score or are you hurting the team from scoring? Hurts makes way more positive plays than negative plays. Okay. It's an over the top analytic stat. It's just like in baseball. There's so many over the top analytic stats, Anthony. I've never bothered to teach myself the meanings and the formulas for these stats. I just like to find out if my team's winning or not. You know what I mean? What's up? Differently abled Datvi. I recognize the face. Did you change your name on there? I don't know. He was first place in the division. That's right. Who would have thought? Well, I did. But Washington's tied for first, and Dallas is tied for last. I love it. I love it. The NFC East. In the first 3 games, he already has half the picks he did last year. It's not good, Duck. It is not pretty at all what the Eagles, what Jalen Hurts has done. But he is still finding ways to overcome the adversity, overcome the mistakes he's making, and still finding to win games more often than not. And that's not a sustainable formula. It is not a sustainable formula to lose the turnover battle and win every single week. I get that. But so far, we're holding on with it. Yeah, sometimes you get one right, Eric? The Eagles win despite of Jalen Hurts. We are so talented that we can overcome his turnovers. That's the difference. So Jalen Hurts had nothing to do with leading game-winning drives. The quarterback, you can take Jalen Hurts out and throw Tanner McKee in, and we'd still win the game. Brian, is that what you're saying? Because let me tell you something. That ain't the case. We aren't permitted to be reasonable on a Tuesday, are we? I'm trying to be. I had a list of things to discuss here. A list of things to discuss. And we're 40 minutes into it, and I've touched one thing. And you guys didn't address it at all. Nick Sirianni calling plays. That's it. He cost us the Super Bowl. I know that's your boy. Look, I've admitted that he cost us the Super Bowl. I said not James Bradbury's holding call, Jalen Hurts' fumble. I've said it for 2 years now on this show. And Marshawn, you're an OG. You know that. It'll be confident Ranger when I see it. Until I see it, I ain't confident Ranger. Honestly, Big Al, I'm not pitching Ranger until game 4. And even then, it's if necessary. If we got a 3-0 lead, sure, I'll pitch him. But if we're down 1-2 in a series or down 2-1 in a series, I ain't pitching Ranger in game 4. I'm pitching Zach Wheeler on short rest. We need to get a body language analyst to dissect Sirianni's pressure. Look, I am a body language expert, just so you know. I played one on TV. I stayed at a Holiday Inn. If you really want a really relevant reference, I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. I am an expert at body language. Nick Sirianni's body language and facial expressions were no bueno. That's Spanish for not good, basically. Something like that. I could tell Sirianni calls plays in the red zone. You could just tell. He's doing way more play calling than he should be. One play call a game is too much for Nick Sirianni. And once I heard that, and how I heard him answer his, when he was pressed by the media, and kudos to the media for them following up and pushing a little harder. And he just kept saying, no, I ain't answering this shit. He literally said, I am not going to answer every single week questions why I went for it on 4th down. So stop. I was like, what? What? On a side note, if you watch his press conferences regularly like I do, because for the show, I make sure I watch every Nick Sirianni press conference, every Vic Fangio, every Kellen Moore, every Jalen Hurts press conference. I watch them all. We don't cover them all, but I watch them all. Next time you watch a Nick Sirianni press conference, and when it's Zach Berman's turn to ask a question, Nick Sirianni gets this big smile on the face. The Monday press conferences are Zoom. So, all right, we'll go here. And now, Zach, you're up. And then Zach says, hey, Nick. And Nick just gets this, hey, Zach. He doesn't say, hey, to Chris Franklin. And when Chris Franklin says, hey, Nick, he doesn't say, hey, Chris. But when Zach Berman says, hey, coach, he says, hey, Zach, and a big grin. I think there's a secret bromance between Zach Berman and Nick Sirianni. When I was at the A.J. Brown football camp trying to get some footage, and I was terrible at it, Zach Berman and Chris Franklin were the only 2 beat reporters there. Nick Sirianni was there with the A.J. Brown. And he walked by everybody and ignored everybody. But Zach Berman's like, yo, coach. And he stopped, backtracked, came over, smiled, and gave Zach Berman a handshake. Ignored Chris Franklin, ignored me, but had no problem stopping for Zach Berman. Him and Zach Berman are like, there's a bromance brewing there. Just a little side note, a little side tangent I had to throw there. As long as he's the head coach, he will always have a call on everything. Hard to mitigate that. Yeah, yeah. I wonder what Howie Roseman feels about what he said in that press conference that he's calling plays. Joe Burrow is 0-3. Since they called Carson, walk it to him, I'm calling Jalen, run it to him. Okay, all right. Fair enough. Allen is the Bills are 3-0. Absolutely. Burrow's 18th in EPA. Yeah. Joe Burrow is not who we thought he was. $130 would change my outlook. Look, let me tell you something. I had the worst week of betting on Sunday I've had in a long time. Every single bet I made on Sunday failed. And I had one golf bet, and he fell 2 strokes, I think, shy of winning the event. So I had an awful Sunday. Okay? I'm like, I'm never betting football again. Then Monday afternoon, about 6:30, I'm sitting at the pizza shop. Like, you know what? Let's just look at the DraftKings numbers. All of a sudden, I got 2 $10 bets. $20 turned to $130. I turned a $40 profit for the week. How about that? Phil, you just proved to me that you don't watch football. Go watch last night, bro. And I guess what? Bro didn't play the last half of last season. He was out injured. Well, he's injured just as much. So there's problems with him. I watched some of last night's game. I didn't watch all of it. I was watching the Buffalo game because that's where I had my money on it. But I was flipping to it occasionally. They were down 21-3 at one point. Or 21-7. I forget what it was. 21-13 at the half. I was watching some of it. I don't watch every minute of every football game. But Joe Burrow is not playing good football, big picture right now. I'm not going to let up until run it until him stops doing it. Hey, that's fine. Fine. And I'm not going to stop countering your points, man. After the season, that SOC, son of a coach, I like it. Nick needs to be banished to Howie's old office in the boiler room. He can be the head morale coordinator of analytics. I like that. Burrow is far better than Hurts. It's not close. Bengals have no running game, no defense, worst O-line. That's the thing. We always make excuses for quarterbacks, except for Jalen Hurts. We can't give any excuses for Jalen Hurts. And yes, Barbara, big picture, he might be the better quarterback. But right now, he's not playing like the better quarterback this year. And yes, he also went to a Super Bowl the year before or the year after. I forget. 1 year before, year after Jalen Hurts. I get it. But we're giving Joe Burrow a pass, but we're not giving Jalen Hurts an ounce of credit. At least he has been to the playoffs. A win is a win. Oh, my God. Stop. Joe Burrow struggles, and everyone gives him a pass. When does the Burrow floor finally collapse? What does that guy have to do to finally get the criticism? Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of quarterbacks that went to. All right, we're going to go this route. Are you going to throw Brad Johnson's name in there or Jeff Hostetler? Come on, Barbara. I can go back in time with the same conversation. I get it. Eagles needs to come out Sunday firing all cylinders with no let up. Since history shows after a huge game win, they come out sluggish. Look, it's going to be tough Sunday. We'll get into Sunday's game later in the week, Jose. But let's not act like it's not going to be a tough game Sunday. And not because the Bucs, because Devontae Smith is going to be out. Lane Johnson is going to be out. Britton Covey is going to be out. Darius Slay looks like he's going to be able to play. A.J. Brown is on the fence at this point. Mekhi Becton is on the fence at this point. If we're missing 4 of the 6 injured players, it is going to be tough to overcome all that. It's where Saquon Barkley and his 5.6 yards per carry that he's averaging this year needs to be utilized before the end of the first quarter. 17 games times. I know it's. Let me tell you something. If he even gets to 25 turnovers or 28 turnovers, it's bad. It's bad. I can't wait till he has a game with no turnovers, just so I can ask you guys what about that. Jaden Daniels having a great season in Washington so far. Absolutely. Sirianni is the reason for Hurts' regression by process of elimination. Maybe. Jalen Daniels, I still don't buy him totally, but he had a great game last night. Jalen Hurts threw a 5-yard pass. Dallas Goedert did the rest. The whole offense did it. It was a well-executed play. Jahanna Dotson ran a good legal screen pick play there. Just so you know. Hurts is the reason why Hurts is bad. Why is he bad? He is good. Maybe he's not an elite top 3 quarterback, but there are less than 10 quarterbacks in the NFL that I would take over Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of bad quarterback play in the NFL week to week. Jalen Hurts is not the worst of the worst, okay? Joe Burrow has 0 interceptions. What's Joe Burrow's record, Mitchie Poo? Just going to say. I addressed Sirianni's poor decision making. I wanted to spend this show talking about Nick Sirianni. As always, it spirals into a Jalen Hurts conversation. You know, it is what it is. You know, I have a half a page of notes on Nick Sirianni. But unlike Grossman, Hurts put together one of the best performances of a quarterback on the losing Super Bowl. He was second in MVP voting that year. He was the front runner in 2023, up through the Bills game. That PI on the Chiefs should have been called. The love for the Chiefs. We can agree on that one. We can agree on that. The refs have an itchy trigger finger when it comes to penalties on the Chiefs. But yet Devontae Smith can have his helmet ripped off, pounced on with an Uso splash, and then spit on, and still no flag is thrown. Make that one make sense. You know what makes sense, though? I'm not prepared, but I haven't done one yet. What makes sense is going to sherrytickets.com if you need tickets to a sporting event, concert tickets, theater. Go to sherrytickets.com, family owned and operated since 1946. They have the best prices around. The price you see is the price you pay, no hidden fees. And check this out. If you use promo code EOP10 at checkout, you'll save an additional 10%. So why would you overpay with the rest? Save with the best. Sherrytickets.com. Again, promo code EOP10 saves you 10%. Guys, right back to comments. I'm so far behind on comments. That's why it's so late for the first ad read right there. Scoop and score isn't good. Agenda? We all have agendas, Edward. We all have agendas, always. I'm from South Philly. We know body language and hand gestures. He was having a tantrum and was being a child. Didn't he say he read a book about being an adult and not being overly emotional? I missed that one, Duck. But yeah. Phil binges pressures like I binge. I'm sorry you feel that way. Zach Berman throws him softballs. Maybe that is why. His question was on. So his question yesterday in the press when he smiled was on the interception and why he felt like it was his fault and not Jalen Hurts or Devontae Smith's fault. He talked about prep and practice and how he teaches the wide receiver and how he teaches the quarterback and whatnot. But yeah, he just got this little man crush with Zach Berman. Nick's body language is terrible. If he was in on a heist, the moment he sits on, yeah. It's almost like he has been told that he's coaching for his career right now. Phil, so nothing is hurt. No, I blame Jalen Hurts for the interceptions. I've said they are terrible. I've said he cannot keep turning the ball over the way he does. I have. I'm not ready to pack it in on Jalen Hurts, though, because I know there's worse out there. That is a great point. Yeah. EPA, I only know IPA. Oh, I love a good IPA. What's your favorite IPA, Marshawn? Nick and Zach are like the John Cena and Randy Orton backstage. Yeah. Yeah. Kayfabe, how do you say it? Is dead. I am a gambling degenerate. Absolutely. People are cherry picking, and I don't mean to. Even Barb's getting in on the David R. Cherry segues. I love it. He's simply a dedicated player. Dan Barber. Yeah, I love it. Howie is COO, child of the owner. Or he's got negative, or maybe he's got a tape of a certain owner at a certain type of party. Maybe that's why Howie Roseman is in such power. Look at that. Look at that. I'm just bringing. Yeah. Josh Allen has not been to a Super Bowl. That is correct. Phil needs to call David Archerry for his terrible take. We're getting to that soon. This might not be a 90-minute show. We might have to go a few minutes over 90 today. Phil needs to take the bus trip to Baltimore first. Thanks. I appreciate it. I give Hurts credit when warranted. He was bad last year and this year, but I know he can do better. He can do better. That's the thing. Jalen Hurts has the talent to be an MVP Super Bowl winning quarterback. And that's why maybe I'm too kind on him because I see that talent. Maybe I need to be more critical. I think Jalen Hurts' problem is up here. And that's why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing up the conversation of sports psychologists. Maybe he needs to see one. Pay Becton. I got an interesting Mekhi Becton question for you guys. Let me try to fire through a few more comments here. Washington looks better than Dallas, which is really weird. Dallas sucks. If Jalen has a great game, I will give him his props. He was the MVP of the game in week 2. Duck, so if you don't go to a Super Bowl, you're bad. Come on. Nah, but it's part of it. It is what it is. Jalen Hurts got bailed out by the defense. The defense played phenomenally. That's what I'm here to give great points. Mr. Always on point. Jeff Hostetler won a Super Bowl. He did win a Super Bowl. Oh, man. I'm just saying that that Super Bowl is an indicator a lot of people use. It is. No book is fixing Sirianni's maturity. No. Oh, we're definitely hitting the over today. Like massively over. We might have to reset the line after today. What did Jalen and Smitty say about the interception? I haven't heard what Jalen said. I don't think Smitty's spoken. I don't know if Smitty even knows how to talk right now. I know that's probably a not nice joke. Maybe if I end every comment with fun, Phil will take them more seriously. Yeah, exactly. The alternatives are bleak. I said this, I think last year, maybe it was in the off season. Like, think back like 10, 15 years ago, we had Manning, Brady, Rodgers, well, far, but maybe going back further, far. We had so many there was a time where we had 5, 7, 8 elite quarterbacks in the NFL. Like there's Patrick Mahomes and everybody else. And Patrick Mahomes doesn't even look like himself this year. Like the quarterback play as a whole in the NFL, you got guys like Will Levis, Gardner Minshew, Daniel Jones. The list goes on. The names of the quarterbacks that are starting in the NFL right now, it's pretty bad. There's a lot of bad quarterback play. The last preseason presser, he was sitting with Howie, and he said that he was doing some reading about controlling his emotions to get better results dealing with ref and players. Interesting. I missed that one. No problem. I know that. Yeah. Calm down now. No, I want fired up Barb. Play less hot take. Lori allegedly. Like, I didn't say it. I just said he might have been on a list or a video, and Howie's got the proof. That's all I'm saying. I didn't use his name. I didn't use Diddy's name. I just said maybe. I went there first, just saying. I was once a defendant of Hurts, Simmons, and Tyble. All right, so you want to get into all that. I didn't even set this up to share. All right, let me go to my profile page on Twitter here and find it. Oh, there it is. There's the thing I'm looking for. I don't need the video to actually play. Don't need that. But we're just going to share this, okay? So this is what we have to do. We have to admit our bad takes in life. We have to normalize bad takes and admitting our bad takes. So, yes, March 6th last year, I said DeAndre Swift is greater than Saquon Barkley. And we talked about it on this show. And I said I didn't want Saquon Barkley because I didn't want to sign a big contract running back that was 27 years old, that was injury prone, that had a lot of mileage on his legs, that was not a fit for an RPO system for somebody DeAndre Swift who was cheaper, younger, and worked in our system. So I decided yesterday to pull up that old tweet and admit, hey, I was wrong. Before y'all pull your receipts, because there's plenty of people that bookmarked that and called me out on that tweet. So you know what? I got out in front of my bad take. And I told the world, yo, I made a bad take. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Let me tell you something. This tweet has blown up, not as much as you think by the impressions, but the amount of comments, quote tweets, names I've been called from this tweet and this video. Let me tell you something. You don't have to do hot takes to be clickbaity. This right here, I think I gained 40 new Twitter followers in less than like 3 hours yesterday just because of this little short video I made. Just going to throw it out there. Normalize admitting your bad takes. And that's what I do right there. So admitting, I think there was a point, Marshawn, before I did any of this, I was on a show with Scotty from DSM. And he asked me, who would you take long term? Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid? This was when Brett Brown was still the coach. This is before Jimmy. This is like in 2020. I said, Ben Simmons had a higher ceiling than Joel Embiid. And I was wrong on that. But Diddy could use legal representation. Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure he's good there. I'm pretty sure David Archeri has standards. Joe Burrow looks at more than one read. Jalen Hurts runs it. It's a load of BS. Yes, he should. No. David Archeri couldn't even get him off at this point. It's so bad at quarterback one that I would pass on Joe Burrow for real. Quarterback play is way down the last 5 years. Will Levis is ridiculous. He is. Some of the quarterback play, Barbara, it's just when Sam Darnold looks like an MVP candidate through 3 weeks, no offense. I'm not trying to knock Sam Darnold. But when Sam Darnold looks like an MVP candidate through 3 weeks, we got a problem. I don't look at the mechanics as much as Mitch. but the results of Jalen throws have not been productive. We need David Archeri. Thank you, video. Yeah, we need a David Archeri thanking me for making him famous. Is this Phil's deposition? It was my deposition tape, basically. This is Phil's Diddy tape. No, it's just my tape of me admitting, yeah, I had a bad take. I didn't think Saquon would fit in an RPO read option type offense. I didn't think the Eagles would have the balls to put Jalen Hurts under center, which they're doing. I didn't think Saquon Barkley would. And look, the contract still might end up being a mistake down the line. Time will tell. But right now, it's Josh Allen, it's Sam Darnold, and Saquon Barkley. There are 3 leading candidates for MVP right now in the NFL. I wasn't here in March. Dude, it was. I wasn't on EOP. I was at my previous network still when that happened. But some of the core was there for that. I was not. Free calls. My God. I just delivered the pizza. What kind of tip did the pizza delivery guy get for delivering those days? Dare you to tweet out that Jalen Hurts is better than Joe? All right, you dare me. Remind me after the show. I'll forget probably in the next 30 minutes. Jeff Hostetler had an awesome 80s mustache. When is the mustache coming back in style? Should I shave my beard and just go mustache, mister? I think my wife would divorce me. Yeah, I own that. I own all my bad takes, Marshawn. I'm the only guy in the media or content creation world that owns every bad take that I have. I have no problem owning it. No problem owning it. I think media members and content creators need to normalize it. Yo, I was wrong. We just formulate an opinion. It's just an opinion. Sometimes you're wrong. But some people can't do that. Saying Hurts makes one read is, yeah. Well, I don't know about the racist part, but I don't know if I'd go that far, Anthony. But yeah, he's better than people give him credit for. Will Levis doesn't even look like a back. He don't look like he should be playing in the UFL, Marshawn. I don't know. Diddy seems a bit of a freak. I'm sure a middle-aged lawyer get him. Oh, man. They still have not fired Nick. No, Thomas, they have not. And it's a shame. Porn stash Phil would be fire. We'll have to come up with something. Something that happens. Subscribers, followers, donation. I don't know. We got to come up with some kind of a plan. And if X, Y, and Z happens, I will go to the porn star stash. All right? Because the only way the wife will approve of it is if there's something good coming out of it. Maybe X amount of subscribers and X amount of money donated to her favorite dog charity, her rescue charity, or her favorite rescue. Maybe those 2 things. If those 2 things are met, I will go beardless, and I'll change it. Beard of knowledge. I'll go stash of knowledge as my name for a little while, okay? That's what I'll do. Aaron Rodgers and Travis Kelce keeps trying to bring back the 70s and 80s porn stars. Travis Kelce just looks down and out. I made a joke in my mind, and I never put it out on Twitter. So I figured I didn't want to deal with the Swifties that would say it, that Travis Kelce is not washed. Patrick Mahomes' wife and Taylor Swift hate each other so much. Patrick Mahomes' wife told him, don't throw Travis the ball anymore because I don't like Taylor Swift. And Patrick Mahomes is listening to his lady at home to keep the peace on the home front. That's what's going on in my mind with the Travis Kelce issues right now. Eagles win Super Bowl, stash of knowledge, engage. No. Because then it'll definitely, no, I shouldn't say definitely not happen. Travis got that tickle Swift being, yeah. I wonder what you would look clean shaven. I'm not a fan of guys with facial hair. My wife loves the beard. Whether it's long or like the short scruffy beard. I look like I'm 43. I feel like I'm 67. I look like a mid-40s guy with the way I look right now. If I go completely 100% clean shaven, Barbara, I look like I'm 16. I truly do. I have such a baby face that it's not even believable. It's honest, and I honestly look really weird and awkward clean shaven too. Diddy told and by the way, Barbara, I have not been clean shaven. So 2 weeks of my life. So up through high school, I went to private Catholic school, had to be clean shaven for that. The day I graduated high school, I started growing a goatee. Then for 2 weeks of my life after college, I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and they had a requirement to be clean shaven. I clean shaved. I hated the job, and as soon as I quit that job, I started growing back. So since I graduated high school in 1998, I've had 2 weeks of my life clean shaven, and that's it. So that's all. That's not much. I'm definitely a beard or facial hair guy. Diddy told Enes to walk for cheesecake because Ness wouldn't give him any. Don't do it. You probably would be ugly with that. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks for the vote of confidence there. I'm thinking about the stash of knowledge. Stash of knowledge, man, dude. I've already turned into heel mode Phil sometimes lately, so why not become the stash of knowledge temporarily? If X, Y, and Z is met, why not, Big Al? Right? Why not? I got work on this. Mr. Sandman, is that true or is it, yeah, it's just a continuation? Guys, PhillySportsTrips.com. We got to talk about them real quick. If you want to travel to see your favorite team, you go to PhillySportsTrips.com. They are the premier travel and tailgate company there is in the Delaware Valley. Whether it's tailgates down in at the stadium complex or whether it's traveling to see your favorite team, check them out. PhillySportsTrips.com. They're already taking deposits for 2025. Philly spring training. You can go up to New York to see the Eagles take on the Giants for Saquon Barkley's return home to New York. You can go down to Dallas for F Dallas Week, where we march into Dallas and whoop some Cowboys' ass, and then go back to the hotel afterwards and watch Yellowstone Season 5 premiere. I can't wait. It's going to be my favorite day of the year right there, November 10th. And, of course, the bus trip to Baltimore, December 1st, down to M&T Bank Stadium down there in Baltimore. It's going to be a good matchup there, Ravens-Eagles. They're on December 1st, guys. Check them out, PhillySportsTrips.com. Make sure you mention EOP. Make sure you mention Trend in the AM. And maybe sometime next year, we'll put together a Trending in the AM Philly Sports Trip, tailgate, maybe at a Phillies game or something like that. Down there, we'll plan it out. We'll have a big Trending in the AM kind of shebang down there hosted by them guys. Check them out, though. It's a great website, great company right there. I wonder, they look like in a stash. Well, remind me when I put that ad up there on the screen. Graduating high school in 98 and being 34. I said 40. Did I say 34? I'm 43. Did I say 34? I'm sorry, Thomas. I think I said 43. Maybe I said 34. 43. 43, just so you know. Or maybe I'm just some super genius that graduated high school at like 12 years old. I'm a super genius doing this and running a pizza shop. Yeah. Hey, it's believable though, right? Having a baby face is not a bad thing. Thank you. My wife doesn't like. My wife likes the facial hair. She does. Honestly, this current length of the beard is my favorite length of the beard. Sometimes I let it grow really long, but this is the preferred length of the beard right here. Isn't horrible when you can make that up and it sounds so believable. Oh my God. Let's get off. I'm ashamed that I made a Diddy reference. Okay. And that's turned this show upside down. I don't want to. All right. So I wanted to bring up a Mekhi Becton. Somebody mentioned Mekhi Becton a few minutes ago. I want to bring it up. Oh, so I did say 43. Okay. All right. Do a normal check. That's absolutely correct. Look, no offense, not to get sidetracked. I was going to talk Mekhi Becton. My dad was a genius. He was. And he just worked for the telephone company. My dad legit could have been a rocket scientist. He was so damn smart. But he worked at the phone company. So there is that. All right. So Mekhi Becton, comment that I want to bring up. So I was going through stats yesterday. And obviously Fred Johnson, Tyler Steen filled in for Becton and Lane Johnson on Sunday. Fred Johnson in 33 pass snaps, gave up 5 pressures but no sacks. Tyler Steen in 36 pass snaps, gave up 0 pressures and 0 snaps. Both of them performed very, very well. Mekhi Becton, out of all the injured players, is most likely to be ready to play on Sunday. Do you put Mekhi Becton back at right guard and put Fred Johnson at right tackle? Do you move Mekhi Becton to right tackle where he's played his whole career and leave Tyler Steen at right guard where he performed very well yet on Sunday? Or not to bench Mekhi Becton, but Tyler Steen and Fred Johnson seem to have a great chemistry. Do you leave Steen and Johnson out there? Since the backups practice together, they seem to work better together. Do you do that? What would you do with Mekhi Becton? Do you go Becton Johnson, Steen Becton, or Steen Johnson on Sunday? Interesting little question that I'll let you think about for a second. Beard's been saving ugly dudes for centuries. That's me. I actually met my wife for the first time without facial hair in that 2-week stretch, and she didn't pay me the time of day. But then when I hung out with her for the first time, I had regrown my facial hair, and she was locked. I had her hooked instantly. Do you have confidence in Jalen throwing the ball or Joe Burrow throwing the ball? I mean, I have all the confidence in the world in Jalen Hurts. So there. If Phightin can play, he plays. But do you play him at right guard with Fred Johnson at right tackle? Or do you play him at right tackle with Tyler Steen at right guard? That's the question. Where do you play him, K1? I think you put him back to right. Personally, I think you go Phightin Johnson. That's probably the right answer. But I'm kind of intriguing myself with the Steen Johnson idea or the Steen Phightin idea. I'm just bouncing ideas off because everybody performed pretty well there. It was a Freudian slip. Titty won it. Oh, my goodness. So if Lane and Smith actually do have concussions, they won't be. Look, they both have concussions. It's very hard in the NFL with the protocols they put in place to get cleared in 1 week. Very rarely do they get cleared in 1 week, Barbara. Lane Johnson throwing up the way he was is very concerning. There are rumors, no guaranteed confirmed things, that Devontae Smith was knocked out for a second. Even though he eventually popped up and was waving to the crowd. When you're knocked out unconscious, that's a problem. So my best guess is both of them miss. I'm going forward with my game prep for the Bucs game with both those guys out, Barbara. That's my opinion. That's my thought. Dirtiest hit I've seen with no penalty. Absolutely. If I'm Devontae Smith, I'm calling David Archeri because workers' compensation issue right there. If you need a lawyer in the state of Pennsylvania, workers' compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law, you call the best. You call David Archeri, the Cherry Law Firm, 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Again, let him fight for you and get you what you deserve. He will. Whether you're Devontae Smith, Darius Slay, you got a case, you call David Archeri. Again, his number 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. And I'm leaving the picture up for 1 second because I'm mentally picturing David Archeri with a mustache. I am. I'm thinking about it. And it looks kind of weird in my mind. Anyway, back to the comments right there. 13 likes, Mitchie Poo. Not enough, guys. Please, if you're watching this video, you hit the like button. It's free to do. You hit the subscribe button. It's free to do. Hit the share button. It doesn't cost a penny to support this show or any of the great shows out there on Edge of Philly Sports. Guys, hit that like button, share button, subscribe button. This is Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports, guys. Especially with the bye week coming up. Yeah, absolutely. K1. That's enough. I thought about it. I didn't mention it. You'd be extra. I'm almost to an extent, K1, even though it means no Devontae and no AJ. I'm being cautious with AJ Brown's hamstring as well. And if he's 90%, I'm probably sitting AJ Brown as well. Let him get 100%. I'm not pushing anybody in week 4 that's important on this team injury-wise. There's no reason to. The week 4 bye or the week 5 bye after the week 4 game is advantageous this year to this Eagles team because of the amount of injuries that have piled up in the last 2 weeks. So I'm being extra cautious. The schedule gets easier as the schedule goes on. So you rest all those guys. If it means a loss, it means a loss. I had predicted them before the season losing in Tampa anyway. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'll wait to see who plays and who doesn't play. But yeah, I knew what you meant. All the cherry bombs, firing right on through them all. Plus, we have the bye, so be safe rather than sorry. Absolutely, safe is the way to go. Dude, I'm trying to imagine it. We need somebody to like photo edit, like people do jersey edits. When players move to a new team, or maybe you'll be moving to a new team. We need a stash edit. I like that. Somebody should do a stash edit for everybody on the EOP team. A picture of the entire Edge of Philly sports team with mustaches on it. Forget Cherry Smith. Better call Roger. Yeah. But again, Nick Sirianni asked about it. I'm not going to talk about that. Whether I submitted anything to the league on that. That's a private matter. What's private about it? You better well have submitted something to the league on that to review that play. Add on Darius Slay. Why can't you just be transparent about it? When I shave my beard, young ladies flirt with me. I have to tell them I'm old enough to be your dad. I think I get flirted on more with the beard than without the beard. Where do you have Joe Burrow ranked on your quarterback list, and where do you have Jalen Hurts ranked? To start the season, I had Joe Burrow number 2 on my list. See, look at that. Mitchie Poo. Look at that. I had Joe Burrow number 2 on my list. Now, Josh Allen should have been higher. Now, through 3 weeks, if I had to do a post-week 3, Josh Allen would be number 1 probably on my list. Just saying. I didn't have J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold on there because I had J.J. McCarthy. But see, I'm an honest person. I put Joe Burrow to come into the season as number 2 on my list. It's also why I don't wear wedding rings. So my wife thinks girls flirt with you when you have a wedding ring on. I don't know what it is. I also hate jewelry, so I don't wear my wedding ring very often. Gave you another over there. How do you feel about Mitchell? I think he's better than Sauce. Well, that's stuff. I think Quinyon Mitchell, Thomas, and I've been saying it since training camp. I'm saying it since the draft. That Quinyon Mitchell might already be the best cornerback on this team. Now, through 3 weeks, I wrote down the numbers. Let's see here. Quinyon Mitchell through 3 games. He's given up 8 receptions on 17 targets. He's got the quarterback rating targeting him is 69.2. He's got 4 pass breakups on the season. He's tied with 6 forced incompletions, which is tied for the lead for the league. Quinyon Mitchell, for a rookie, he's had 2 or 3 plays this season where he's probably because of the soft coverage he's being forced to play, has given up some big plays. But outside of 2 or 3 plays, Quinyon Mitchell, for a rookie, he's trending towards Defensive Rookie of the Year. He probably won't get it. Normally it goes to a guy with a lot of sacks. Let me tell you something. Quinyon Mitchell, chef's kiss right there. Best cornerback on the team. Sirianni working McDonald's drive-through. That is not a private matter. It is an industry issue and should be out there. What are we talking about there? I missed that one. Dak should be 20th. Oh, Dak gets a lot of garbage points and garbage stats. Did I make you? CJ Stroud has gotten the sophomore slump. Yeah, you add Stefon Diggs. So what's that say? Hold on a second. Maybe Stefon Diggs is the problem. Josh Allen struggles with Stefon Diggs. Loses Stefon Diggs, gets better. CJ Stroud's great. Gets Stefon Diggs at it, and is struggling. I did mention CJ Stroud might hit a little wall there this year. Q Mitchell is not better than Sauce yet. No, not yet. Is he better than Slay? Probably. But that's about it. Sirianni is becoming very full of himself. Yeah, I mean, look, I said it. That's what I got off the interview. That's what I got. I was talking about the hit on Smitty. Oh, okay, hold on a second. That is not a private. Absolutely. I don't get it. I don't understand why Sirianni all the stuff Sirianni gives us, and he doesn't want to give us anything on that. Make it make sense. I don't get it. I don't get why Sirianni wants to be such a little snippy little pain in the ass right now on certain things. Sandman, you had me daydreaming. Oh my God. Sorry, I was distracted. Al jumped into the back room studio, the green room, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know why. He just popped in and then popped out. I was something like that distracts me. And I'm like, what's he doing in there? Is he spying on me? Drew, what's up, my man, Drew? Is this the defense we get from the Eagles the rest of the year? That is a fantastic question, Drew. I'm writing this down. Is this the D for 2024? I think that's an excellent question, Drew. I mean, we only got about 10 minutes left in the show today. Sorry, hold on a second. Sorry, Drew, we'll come back to you in a second. Oh, my God. It did. Oh, my God. Guys, I love Big Al. Big Al never misses a moment to surprise me. This is what I get for being part of the EOP family right here. This right here. If you don't notice it, you're not paying attention. Oh, my God. That literally made my day. I got tears in my eyes. That's a great stash. It is. That is. So last week I didn't shave and all I did was look homeless. I'm so jealous of you guys. back to Drew's comment, because Drew brings up an excellent question, an excellent comment here. Okay. Is this the D? Because what we saw the first 2 weeks wasn't what we saw in week 3. Jalen Carter was exceptional. Jordan Davis, exceptional. Zach Bond has been the bright spot of exceptional every single week. Are we going to continue to see this? You know, the Tampa Bay Bucks have been good at times and have been bad at times. You got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, that's going to be a test for Slay and Mitchell. They got Rashid White, you know, running back, who's a really solid. No, yeah, White, is it White? Yeah, I think it's White. It's not a pushover. I mean, they looked terrible against Denver, but they looked really good the first 2 weeks of the season, just like the Saints. I think it's a very smart question right there. Is this the D? And this might be the kickoff topic for tomorrow's show. That stash is better than Phil's take. Mitchie Poo, why do you want to be an enemy of mine? Why don't you want to be my friend, Mitchie Poo? Is it because I call you Mitchie Poo? I wish, but no. Unfortunately, that's not true. No, this is not the defense we will get all season, but we will see it more often than not. The reason is players get injured and injury levels go up and down. Yeah, absolutely. The energy might not be there. Will the success be there? I don't know. You got to get Sirianni off of the Pizza Hut garbage and eat real pizza. Look, I wanted to spend a lot of time today talking about Nick Sirianni, talking about his wide receiver conversation, his conversation on play calling more. We turned this and devolved this into another Jalen Hurts, you know, kerpluffle or whatever you want to call it. That's just what it turned into today. But I'm still not thrilled with Nick Sirianni's energy and his comments and his way of doing business. I really don't. I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, unless he's legitimately been told that you might be done soon. I don't know. What is this note here? Oh, him referencing. So I had a quick emotional hot take that went bad yesterday. Whatever. I'm not always perfect. He mentioned in his Sunday press conference about his son's Little League coach, Dan, and how he draws inspiration from the way he coaches the Little League team. I kind of got a little upset about that, but whatever. You can learn wherever you learn. Whatever. Phil, because Mitchie Poo is your frenemy, is he? I mean, I shout his Birds of a Birds podcast all the time. I'm always there saying hello to him on that show. I love Mitchie Poo. I do. What do I got to do? What do I got to do for Mitchie Poo to show me some love? I want Mitchie Poo to say something nice about me. Please, Mitchie Poo, say something nice about me. Okay, that works. Only if it really is in my bank account after the show. Coach Dan, you got magic clicks. Oh, man, guys. What else was on my list here today? Whatever. Who cares about what's left on the list? Because you know what? After this show today, I need a drink. So if I need a drink, where do I go? I go to Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park. For 65 plus years, they've been the quintessential Irish-American dive bar in Delaware County, 24 East Sellers Avenue. Great food, as pictured. Great drinks. Great times. Check them out. DolansBar.com. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all over social media. When you go in there, tell PJ and the crew, EOP and Trending in the AM sent you. Dude, guys, you don't want to miss it. Great place there. 24 East Sellers Avenue. Again, that's Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park, my old hometown, guys. And, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe and follow button again, please. I ask you. Edge of Philly Sports, 7-day-a-week programming, just so you know. I mean, I kind of did it without the graphic, going over my Saquon Barkley bad take from before. That was kind of I basically called myself out on the Payless hot take of the day. It's basically what I did. More so calling out the other content creators and media that won't admit their mistakes. Defense played like they were in the Super Bowl. Offense played like it was a Madden game. Yeah, set on hard, right? I don't see difference in play calling from last year. Really, he only went to Goddard because Brown wasn't there. He still only goes under center, push play. No, they go under center, Barbara, a little bit more. Not as much as I thought, but I'm seeing 3, 4, 5 plays that Jalen Hurts handing off to Saquon Barkley from under center. I think I saw one play action pass from under center as well on Sunday, just so you know. They're in a lot of difference. We actually have preset motion now. Yeah, I don't know what it is on the season, Duck. I know week 1 was like 66%. I haven't caught I'm going to write it down now. I'm going to write it down as a note. Pre-snap motion percent question mark. I'll Google search that where they're at for the season on that now. And it's made a difference. It really has. Look, for all the turnovers Jalen Hurts has made, and as bad as the turnovers are, the offense has moved the football a lot this year through 3 weeks. Now, they haven't capitalized on every one of them because of the, 7 turnovers in 3 games or 6 turnovers in 3 games, whatever it is. They haven't capitalized as often as they should. And Jalen Hurts needs to be better. Jalen Hurts needs to fix those turnovers. Jalen Hurts needs to learn how to not do that. He needs to learn how to not play hero ball. He needs to learn how to live another day. But the offense is moving the ball effectively most drives. A lot less 3 and outs than previous years from this Eagles offense. That's the pre-snap motion. That's difference in philosophies. I really think that Nick Sirianni isn't calling a lot of the plays. The fact that he's calling some is a concern. And Nick Sirianni not wanting to talk about it when he's the one that said, I made that play call. And then when he's pressed on, I don't want to talk about it. Make that make sense. If I had a media credential, I'd be in the next press conference and I'd be following up. You know, if you'd like to dive into a little bit more about why or when or, you know, I would say, I would just flat out say, I thought Kellen Moore was calling all the plays. I'd probably get kicked out. The reason why the Eagles would never give me a press conference media credential is because I'd probably get kicked out after like 1 week or one presser because I would ask a tough question that he doesn't want to answer. Plain and simple. He can't lose aggressiveness throwing the ball, trying to be careful. It's a fine line. It is a fine line, Barber. It really is. And again, that interception on Sunday, I still want to put some of the blame, whether it's Nick Sirianni or Kellen Moore, whoever called the play, because I can't just assume it's Kellen Moore calling the plays. It was a bad play call. Bad play call. Because you don't run a play with that route as your key spot in that route without A.J. Brown running that route. It's a route that Devontae Smith is going to lose on more often than he's going to win. But Jalen Hurts has faith in Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts is listening to the play call. Now, Jalen Hurts probably should have just thrown it away or checked it. I think it was Dotson that was out in the left flat. Not wide open, but wide open for like a half a second. Maybe he should have done something like that. But we'll see. It's having Saquon also help with pre-snap motion. Absolutely. Saquon's doing wonders. He don't ride for his homies. Thought this was the city of brother love. I wanted him to explode. Yeah, absolutely. If the pizza parlor don't have an Italian man, what did I call myself? Harry S. Italian man? Or Harry, what did I call myself earlier in the show? That's me. I'm the Italian man. My grandma came over from the boat from Italy. I don't do the hair gel. I don't have enough hair for a hair gel. But I won't lie, mister. Back in the day, I had beautiful hair. And I used to grease it up. I used to do the grease straight back. I used to do the part down the middle grease. I had the nice comb over, greased look for a while. Go look at all my Holy Cross yearbooks from back in the late 80s, early 90s. There was a lot of gel. I was a stockholder in, what was it called? LA. What was it called? There was an LA branded gel. I was a stockholder in that shit. My hair was, you could take a brick and the brick would shatter if it would hit my head. I'm okay with the aggressiveness, but you have to know football. When you're down 3 going to the half, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not Jalen Hurts' fault. That's one Mr. Nicholas Sirianni's fault for sure. Guys, we got to start the wrap-up process here. Can't believe we got caught up on the comments today. I didn't think we were going to get there. But anyway, this is Trending the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. What did we talk about today? Not what I wanted to talk about. So we talked a lot of Jalen Hurts, some Nick Sirianni tomorrow. Who knows what's going to come up from the Eagles today? Maybe we hear some news on the injuries. I don't know. Points on the board help. They do. We wouldn't have been down 3-0 going in the fourth quarter. We kicked a few field goals. And why wait till you then finally he tries to kick a field goal from 61 yards? Duck, make it make sense. I don't know. Those boys, Tyler Steen and Fred Johnson, came up big time. 1,000% for Joshua. We're about to wrap it up for the day. But yeah, we talked about that a little bit ago. One more like. I got 17 Facebook likes, Mitch. How does Facebook like this more than YouTube? That's a disappointment. When 90% of the comments come from YouTube, but more likes come from Facebook. That's disappointing. Won't lie. The friend Hurts staying confident and aggressive, not Sirianni. Yeah, I got you. Anyway, what will we talk about tomorrow? Maybe we'll get more into the Phillies tomorrow. We started off with a little Phillies talk. We'll keep Phillies talk going. Basketball's right around the corner, guys. Flyers preseason games have been happening. We got lots on the agenda. Maybe we'll try to throw a little bit of everything into the conversation tomorrow. Facebook worked today. Yeah, it did. That's right. Always. That's how we ended up. Guys. But same bat channel, same bat time tomorrow right here. Edge of Philly Sports. I am Phil Stiefel. This is Trending in the AM. Guys, everybody, thank you very much. Fantastic show today. Fantastic interaction from each and every one of you today. I love you all. But, as always, ring the bell. Go Birds. I want my fucking trophy back. And bubbles up to y'all.